So welcome to the very first of our little trainings. I'm going to give you a training each day this week. We are going to have a training on Wednesday, which is do whatever the fuck I like day, just to show you how to do whatever the fuck you like. Super important. So first day, day one, we're looking at how to actually create space for your life atelier using time travel and also this practice of letting go of the past. Okay. Now, there are three concepts that I want you to think about before you actually get into the fun play work of exploring what you want your project to be and naming it. So the first is the reason that we time travel. And the reason that we work with our future self and we go forward to think about what it is that we want in the future, and in a year or 5 years or 3 years or 10 years, whatever it is, rather than just sitting first and saying, okay, what do I want? Now, if we just ask ourselves, what do I want? Normally, what will happen with the human brain is it will immediately limit what it considers based on what it thinks you can have. So, a classic example of that would be when people are setting their prices or financial goals for their business. They will, and I used to do it, look around them and say, okay, what's the industry standard? And then they set their price based on that. But if we say, like, okay, in 5 years' time, what do I want to be charging? Okay, and what kind of lifestyle do I want to have? What that then does is it creates space and safety for our brain to be like, well, it's in the future, so it's not really happening. So, okay, let's do this as a creative exercise. Now, that allowed me to think about when I was teaching English back in the day. Okay, the industry average right now is this. People are paying me more money in 5 years or 10 years. Why? Oh, because I'm letting myself add value based on the time that I've been teaching. But is it time that has made me better at what I do? Or is it actually the tools that I have learned and the way that I'm showing my students how to use them? Right, obviously it's that one. Therefore, what can I do right now if I instead decide I am going to be the most expensive English teacher and my students are going to have the best results? How can I create that today? Okay, so you see how we go forward. So we create that space for safety, for experimentation, and then we come back to the present to take our decisions based on that. The second thing is it helps us to have this practice of looking forward. Now, this is a really simple but powerful tool. I first started to use it when I became a time hacker and I did my time hacker certification. I've talked about it many times. When you are looking back for how you have done things in the past, whether that is, repeating a story of I procrastinate, I'm lazy, I never finish things, right? These are all things that I used to have. We recreate more of it. Okay. So you're looking back to see, like, okay, how did I used to behave? Now, when we decide to jump forward and time travel, we can think about the elements of that person and we can really just practice. I literally used to do it like tilt my head forward. So if I heard myself saying something critical, yours might be, this is a very use your name thing to do when you make a mistake. That was you in the past. What we want to start to do is to say, actually, an Emma thing to do when I look forward is she is tenacious. When she takes a decision, she doesn't give up. Okay, so we have this practice. I love to do that, to just tilt your head, turn it to the right, to remind yourself to look forward. And that creates, again, a lot more space, a lot more freedom of what's possible. Now, the third thing we want to do is to think about integration and creating the space for what we want to create. So we don't want to hate or try to forget or to ignore the version of ourselves in the past. Instead, we want to see this as an evolution. We want to love the parts of ourselves that caused problems. And the example that I always share with this one is, the version of me that was very reactive and falling around all over the place and leaping in and out of degrees. Actually, the tools that she learned were how to create friends, how to build her network, how to respond, how to start over. I'm really good at starting over. And now I help other people to start over and to build a life from wherever they are, an intentional life. So I don't want to say like, oh God, she was a mess. Oh no, right? What I want to see is that same skill that she had, that hopefulness, even when things were really shitty and wanting things to be better, These are the same tools that I'm using now. It's just that I have honed them. I'm using them intentionally versus like just having lots of fire and not really knowing what to do with it. So we want to do the same thing. We want to love the parts of ourselves in our past so that we can integrate them with the parts of ourselves that we're investing in for the future and where we are right now. So those are your 3 concepts for today. If you're watching this inside the Life Atelier, post your questions underneath them. If you are in the membership and you're getting coached, then feel free to come and bring it to coaching as well, or get written coaching on that.